Salutations and welcome, friends, to another Preakness Stakes Spotlight Series. My name is Matthew DeSantis, and you can find me on Twitter at the handle at Fail to Menace. Like I said, today we are going to be previewing yet another contender for this year's 148th running of the Preakness Stakes, and this time we are looking at a long shot coming in from Golden Gate, and that is the automatic qualifier Chase the Chaos, who won the El Camino Real Stakes a few months ago to automatically qualify for the Preakness for Ed Mosier Jr. Intriguing horse. But before we get to that, make sure to press that subscribe button here on YouTube to get all of our great content that we have here at Trust the Profits. Listen, whether you're interested in this Spotlight Series and the rest of the Triple Crown, we got you covered. We're going to be going through the summer at Saratoga. We're going to be getting you ready for the fall races at Keeneland. We're going to be getting you ready for the Breeders' Cup this year out at Santa Anita. We got you covered from handicapping to graded stakes previews to live betting to international racing coverage as well. This is your one-stop shop for everything horse racing. All right. Make sure to like this video as well as letting us know in the comments what chances do you give Chase the Chaos of pulling the upset in this year's Preakness Stakes. Like I said, let's dive deep into Chase the Chaos, who, like I said, a lot of people probably don't know much about, but this is a horse that did qualify and was one of the first qualifiers for the Preakness Stakes, actually, by winning that El Camino Real back in February. And this is a horse that it does do its best work on synthetic, but is now coming to run on the dirt at Pimlico. So let's learn a little bit more about this horse and this particular field within the Preakness Stakes. So when you're looking at the probable field right now, this is one where Chase the Chaos certainly is a horse that maybe is not quite as highly rated as some of the other horses in the field, but is a horse that does have some big wins under his belt. Obviously not coming off a very good performance last time out in that California Derby. But when you think about running styles, this is a horse that is going to be coming running late, a little bit like Red Route 1, a little bit like Perform as well. Both those horses are going to come running late. So interesting that Chase the Chaos has a similar running style to some other horses that may have slightly better form coming into this race. So he might be up against it in that regard. One of the things from a handicapping standpoint that when I'm looking at a field and I see that there's maybe two or three closers, I tend to side with the best closer. I go, listen, Red Route 1 is a proven closer. I don't know if Chase the Chaos is going to be able to get there. So that's why I like Red Route 1 more than Chase the Chaos, maybe, or something along those lines, just as an example. But certainly is a horse that, like I said, earned his right in this field by winning that El Camino Real. Well, let's talk a little bit about the profile, and we'll see about the jockey. Armando Ayusa has been the jockey to this point. Obviously, on a big day, Pimlico, Ed Mosier Jr. might end up, taking another jockey who's going to be up there in Maryland on that particular day rather than bringing Armando over from Golden Gate. But that has been his jockey to this point. So when you look at the pedigree for Chase the Chaos, you understand why this horse does well on synthetic. This is a horse that really is pretty bred for the turf in a lot of ways. Astern, his sire, was a champion sprint turf horse and has turf all the way through, was a grade 1 winning turf sprinter, so has some very solid pedigree in terms of ability and in terms of class and championship status, but just not on the right surface, on the turf, more so than on the dirt. So there is that question of how well is this horse going to take to the dirt. There's been some mixed performances to this point in that regard. Did break its maiden on the dirt, which we'll look for in a second. Dam is from Uncle Mo. So again, you have some classic pedigree underneath there. But like I said, up top, it is a strong turf presence from Astern as his sire. Well, let's take a look at Chase the Chaos's past performance. And this is where you really see a hodgepodge collection of things, quite frankly. The horse starts his career at Canterbury Park and runs halfway decent in debut and then comes back and breaks his maiden second time out on the dirt at Canterbury Park. So it does have a win on a dirt surface. But following that, goes out west and goes to Golden Gate and really seems to find his form a little bit running at Golden Gate, runs a nice third place in the Golden Nugget Stakes, comes back to even really took a big step up in terms of the speed figure standpoint that next time out, finishing second in the Gold Rush, then goes and wins an allowance at Golden Gate to prep for the El Camino Real. horse just seems to keep getting better, maturing a little bit. And that El Camino Real Stakes was a really, really impressive effort. Horse came running late at the end of that race to get there and win, beat a horse like Gilmore in that particular race. Now, you might say, well, what has Gilmore done since then? Well, Gilmore went and ran in the Battaglia at Turfway Park, didn't do particularly well there, but then finished second at the Bayshore Stakes to Joey Freshwater, and then followed that up with a third place finish just last weekend in the Pat Day Mile on the undercard of the Kentucky Derby. So Gilmore has some ability, and in the El Camino Real Derby, Chase the Chaos was able to get the best of him that day. Now you might say, well, maybe it's just the surface. That's it. We'll see. The horse came back and ran at Santa Anita in the San Felipe Stakes. Listen, that was a loaded field. You had Practical Move, you would Go Rocket Ride, you had Skinner, you had a lot of really, really good horses in that field. Was kind of up against it that day. I just had a feeling, and finished seventh. Comes back and finishes eighth in the California Derby last time out. This is a little bit more of a puzzling performance, gets back on that synthetic at Golden Gate. Now, when you rewatch that race, listen, yes, he finished eighth out of nine, but none of those horses were separated by that much. I think he finished eighth by about 5 lengths that day. So they were all pretty close to each other. It wasn't as if he was eighth, well beaten by 20 lengths or something along those lines. And I do wonder how much of this was a prep race potentially for the Preakness, that just to knock a little bit of rust off, because you'll notice he goes 7 weeks without a race after that San Felipe. So maybe this is just, listen, let's just take him out there, get him some practice, knock some rust off. Maybe the San Felipe took a little bit out of him. This nice, easy return. Let's not even try to push the horse too hard. Now let's come back in the Preakness Stakes and push a little bit harder. But listen, his top Equibase speed figure of a 98 is not that far off where some of these other major contenders are. Horse like Mage earned a 104 for the Kentucky Derby victory. You've seen a horse like First Mission get a 102 last time out for the Lexington. So he's not that far off. He's a couple of points off. Can he take a big step forward? Listen, we've seen him take big step forwards before as well. Between that Golden Nugget and the Gold Rush, we saw him take a big step forward and then sustain that with incremental improvements the next 2 times out. So he's a horse that does have ability. He will come running late at the end. I do think that he's up against it in this particular field. I just think the combination of the surface as well as the pedigree just makes me, as well as just the lack of speed in this particular race, I think is going to be a problem for Chase the Chaos. But listen, I'm going to be rooting for him. He's a Pennsylvania bred horse. That's where I grew up. So I'll be rooting for Chase the Chaos in this year's Preakness, and he'll be returning very close to where he was born. And certainly, in Maryland, not just the border state to Pennsylvania. So we'll be rooting for him for sure. We'll keep you updated if there are changes to the jockey. Like I said, Ayusa has ridden him every step of the way for Mosier Jr., but potentially there's a jockey change there on big days. Sometimes trainers will go with a bigger name jockey, obviously, to ride this horse. But listen, he's going to be coming from the back. There's not a lot of pace in this race. He's going to be on a surface that's not probably his preference. I'd love to see this horse on the turf, actually, and see what this horse could do on turf. But, he's run on synthetic and done well. He's run on dirt and done halfway decent before as well. He's got ability. He's got ability for sure. It's just a matter of whether things have to break absolutely right for him, I think, really even to hit the board, in my opinion. He is going to be a long shot in this year's field, but I do think that he has some talent and ability well beyond this year's Preakness. So he's a horse I'll look forward to continuing to follow as his career progresses. But I think he's very much so on the outside looking in for this year's Preakness Stakes. Well, that's going to do it for this Spotlight series on Chase the Chaos. Make sure to like this video, comment below. Listen, if you like Chase the Chaos, you're going to get a price. So let us know if you see it. I know there's a few of you in the comments who love giving out bombs, love going after those long, big priced horses. So give me the argument. Let me know about why you think Chase the Chaos might actually have a shot in this race. Love to hear your opinion on it. We always love to hear from our followers and our fans. So make sure to do that. Make sure to subscribe to Trust the Profits to get all of our great content here on the channel as we take you through the Triple Crown season. And we have so much more than just that here on the channel. Well, until next time, friends, my name is Matthew DeSantis, wishing you a great and profitable day at the races and reminding you that it's now post time.